G'day, Aussie Bonsai bloke. How you going? Well, I'm here editing the video, and I was meant to do an intro in the shed, but somehow I didn't push record or lost it. But basically, at the start of the video, I just said we're going to put an Australian native on a slab planting, which is a Melaleuca claret top, and I needed to get a few things together. So I was going to take you guys around while I got everything together. So you're going to jump straight in when I've already got a rock, and then the rest of the video should make sense. No worries, enjoy the video guys, and I will see you in the shed in a second. Cheers. Next thing we need is a tree. Okay, now we need to go get some red clay. Okay, red clay on the form. Next thing we've got to mix with the red clay is pine needles. So let's get some pine needles. Okay, we've got our pine needles. Now we need to think about how we're going to tie onto this rock which we found. So let's get some drill bits. Okay, got a drill bit and another bit. We'll see which one works best. If nothing works, I could always use a diamond cutter and an angle grinder. We'll see what works. So there's drill bits. Okay, now we just need a bit of wire to tie the tree to the rock. Okay, got the wire. Let's get some soil. G'day guys, welcome back. Well, I think we're pretty close to getting started. We've got most things we need here. I think the interesting thing will be putting the holes in the rock for drainage, and apart from that, well, I think we're good to go. We've got everything. Let's learn how to make some muck. First thing we'll do is get some holes in the rock, and we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, I forgot, I also collected some moss. Okay guys, let's give this a go. I've just got this drill bit. It's only a cheapo diamond cutter. It does cut ceramic pots, so we'll see. Only problem is this is very thick, so I don't know how I'm going to get through it. I've got a bit of water just to help out, keep it cool. And I'm going to aim for the thinnest part, because the thickest part there is no way it's going to make it. Even the thin part, you know, maybe not. So find a nice thin part, drill a hole. I'm going to drill a hole here, and it may end up being one of the only drain holes it gets, because it's going to sort of run off this way anyway because of the slope of the rock, and it's going to run through the muck to a certain extent. Okay, we've got to start. Let's put some water in there, cool it down. Okay, we've bottomed out on that bit. We must be bloody close. Okay, let's try tapping this middle core out with just a screwdriver or whatever you got and a hammer, and see if we can just crack this middle bit a little bit. Hey, I think we're done. Wow, look at that. There we go. We've got a hole. Okay guys, well, this one here hasn't made it through, but I found out a pretty good technique. If you just eyeball the center of that hole and line up your texture, and then put a straight line down that, then flip it 90, same thing, line up your hole, put a line through that. I don't know, I feel like that's going to be pretty close. Yes, I know you could drill a hole and find the exact middle with a tiny drill bit, but I feel like this could work. And there's no pre-drill in this one like there is with a saw blade, wood, whatever you call these bits. Right, let's try it. Well, look at that, not too far off. Now we got two holes. Now guys, one thing to keep in mind too, these rocks have natural fracture lines, and there is actually a fracture line which runs very close to this hole that I drilled. But it feels strong enough. Just make sure you feel them before you go to all this effort, because you don't want it to break apart. I've, you know, treated this reasonably rough to begin with, just to make sure, but it is possible that it could crack off. If it does, well, we'll have to find another slab, won't we? Okay, let's try one of these little drill bits with the hammer. I am slightly worried about the hammer cracking the rock, but I'll go slow and just see what happens. I just want a couple of little tie points around the place, but hopefully we'll see how much stress it puts on stuff. If it seems like too much, I'm going to stop. Put on hammer. reckon it's just going to crack my slab. I think probably a glass or tile cutter might be better for that job, or if you had a smaller one of these, a very small one. Anyway, I don't, whatever's going to work, this is not it, and I don't have a bit for it. So what I'll do is I'm just going to tie the tree down through these holes here, and that'll have to do. Anyway, it's no different to most bonsai pots with only 2 holes and no tie down points. Okay guys, let's make our muck. First time I've ever made muck. This could be an absolute flop. Who knows? But we're willing to give it a go. So how else do you know unless you give it a go? So I feel like there's a little bit of grass in here. I feel like these pine needles may be slightly too long to just mix them straight in there. So I'm thinking I'm just going to chop them up a little bit, not much. I know you want them long enough that it binds everything together, but I feel like these pine needles just need to be a little bit shorter. Otherwise we're going to end up with pine needles just sticking out the muck everywhere, and getting them under control again, to me, feels like it's going to be hard. So let's chop it up a bit. A bit like doing a bit of cooking, you know. You know, I did a bit of pottery the other week, made an absolute flop of painting my pot, absolute flop of it. But, and I will show you that pot, even though it looks like a 1-year-old painted it. Actually, that would do a better job. But I'll show you that. Anyway, what I was going to say is making a pot's a bit like cooking in a way, rolling the dough and all of that. It's a bit like rolling your clay and mucking around with your clay. Well, this is a bit like cooking too, making up a batch of muck. Just getting your ingredients together like this and then mixing in a bit of clay. Alright, I'll get this chopped up and then I'll get back to you when we're about to mix it up and see what happens. Okay guys, well here goes something. Half decomposed pine needles are harmless and probably beneficial. I will say don't grab green pine needles because I feel like they're meant to be slightly bad for plants, but decomposed a bit like that, it's fine. Just grab some old stuff. Right, let's try just a little bit on its side. This is some red clay I dug out the ground from home. Very clay. When it dries to a point where it is literally dries hard like a rock. So, but it's got some sand in it, so I'm probably not going to add sand. The recipe did say a little bit of sand. I think that just depends on how much. Oh, might need gloves. These needles hurt. I think the sand might depend on how clayey your clay is. Clayey your clay is. Hard to say. Wow, actually, that is already, wow, what a recipe. Look at that. I don't think I need to go any further. I think that's bloody good. Look at that. Pretty strong. There you go. Well, guys, don't go out and buy it if you can make it that easy. Bit of clay that you can find from anywhere. Some pine needles. Mix it up. And away you go. You can use sphagnum moss if you don't have access to pine needles, but pine needles pretty much, you know, just go to your local park, you'll find a pine. And just mix her up until she feels right. Anyway, I won't call it a success yet. We've still got to get on that bloody slab. And yeah. I'll mix up little batches just because it's easier to mix. But they say that it should stick upside down. It does, look. I really feel like that's it. So if you got clay, really clay, put a little bit of sand. But I think we'll be okay with this. And it does also say that if it's not sticky enough, which probably means you maybe have too much sand in your clay, you can add, I think it's corn flour or cornstarch, something like that. I'll put it on the video, let you know. I'll just put it on and let you know, but man, I feel like I could make a bird's nest out of this. Save the old Willy Wagtail an effort of building one, you know. Actually, it's probably very similar to how the Welcome Swallow build their nest, with the mud and a bit of stuff to bind it together. Wow, this is kind of fun. I could just knead it like a bit of dough. Now I am starting to get a bit out of control here and going with too much at a time, and it is definitely harder to mix too much at a time, so maybe slow it up a bit. But super happy with how well this stuff seems to be mixing. G'day guys, well, we got our slab ready. Just got to put some wires in there. We've made our muck with our thing of clay and pine needles. Now what's left is I'm going to bare root the tree, so I'm going to put this muck sort of, you know, zigzag it around. I don't think doing an oval straight, just sort of zigzag it around, kind of follow the contour. If you're going to do it on a chopping board or a very straight piece of flat, well then you could run the muck right up to the edge and just put moss on it, so that's all clean finish. But I think on the rock we want to see a little bit of that, you know, rock, so I might stop the muck a good inch or so before the edge and go all the way around like that. But we want to repot the tree, or bare root the tree first, just to see how many roots are in there. So I'm going to go and bare root the tree and then bring it in. I'm not going to show you that process because we've already shown you enough bare root in the last couple of days. But I will show you the amount of roots on this tree. I haven't actually had a look, but here we go. There we go. So a decent amount of roots. A lot of roots. Still got those weird white lumps everywhere, so interesting. Maybe everything I own has a aphid infestation. Going to cost a lot of money in products if that's the case. G'day, welcome back. Well, I don't know, in real life I feel like I've taken too much roots off, but on the camera it still looks like there's a decent amount. This slab's decent size and it's still going to fill it up easy. In actual fact, the slab's probably a bit small, but I am a little bit worried. So this is a bit of a test tree, although I don't want this to die. I really love this tree. I think it's a claret top, whatever that is. Anyway, and I've also got another claret top. Let me know what species the claret top is. I mean, I can Google it. I do have another claret top which I worked on with Marcella from the Victorian Native Bonsai Club. I worked on it in a workshop with her, and if this one works out and it survives, I'm planning on doing the Marcella workshop tree exactly the same. Whether or not I wait for this to survive, or whether or not I just wait till it starts shooting a bit and then call it survived, we'll see. But point being, it's not going to be the only slab that I make, which is why I made up so much muck. And it'll be really cool if I can get a couple of trees on slabs like this. So yeah, stay tuned for the Marcella tree going on a slab. The Marcella tree will actually be easier to put on a slab because it's already in a bonsai pot. So that will make it a bit easier. Yeah, just getting this slab ready, putting the screens on. And now I'm definitely going to wire it on this pretty firmly. I think what I'll do is I'm just going to wire enough wire to be able to go around the roots, join it back together, and I'll do that on both, and I'm going to do two. I'm going to do two of these wires so that one can go around the front of the root ball and one can go around the back of the root ball. So let's do another one. So yeah, I know I'm not talking a lot about what I'm up to, but to be honest, it's a bit stressful because potentially could end up killing this tree, and I love this tree. This tree I've been growing for a good 5 years from tube stock. A couple of years ago I gave it a really good multi-trunk mallee type sort of a style, mallee style, and I was really impressed with how it's going. I've trimmed it just, you know, a couple of months ago, and I've been really impressed with it. So if it dies now, I'll be really upset, but I don't think so. There's still a lot of roots. Let me know what you think. I've taken a good 50% of the roots off. Okay, no joke, at least 50%. So let's see where we want to sit it. And once we work that out, I'll put a little bit of soil under it for now. Probably want to lean it forward more. Something at the front here stopping it from leaning forward. So yeah, it's a little bit more, you know, when there's a bit of skin in the game, it's a little bit more stressful, you know. And for me, this is a bit of skin in the game because this tree has been really nice to me and performed. And if it keeps performing and gets through this okay, the Marcella tree, which is the same variety, will make it easy. Because that's already in a bonsai pot, so it's a lot less reduction. You got to remember, this comes from quite a deep tub, so yeah, it's lost well and truly half its roots, maybe even 65% to be honest, but it still looks like a decent amount. So we've got to try and get the planting angle right. I think the front of the tree is these nice roots here. There is one that crosses over the top of another one, so we might get rid of that one. But otherwise the roots are not bad on it. Here's another crossing one, let's get rid of that. I'm going to bury the roots for now. I feel like I'm always burying roots to try and make them survive easier, but I don't know what else to do. I feel like you can never really expose them properly because you're always trying to protect them. But I can expose a little bit of those root systems. So, right, so that will be the planting there. That angle's not bad. Now I've taken a few roots off, that angle's not too bad. So I'm just going to put a thin layer, so we want it in the middle of the slab. What angle do we want the tree at? Not that much. You don't want it that way, that's too straight on, I think. I think maybe a bit of an angle that way so you can see the cool twisting and stuff of that trunk and this trunk. I think that would be a fairly good front for it. Maybe there somewhere. So this side will be slightly further ahead. So if that's it there, and we want to lean it forward a bit like that, that's fine. Now, where do we want it on the slab? Do we want it a little bit more left? Have some room on the right? Or do we want it a little bit more right, have a bit of room on the left? Or do we want to just plonk it in the middle and just see how that looks? We'll plonk it there for now. If you can find where you put your soil. You dumb clown. Here we go. Always losing shit. Right, I'm going to put a little bit of soil in the middle here, just so I can wire the tree to that soil. And then I'm not going to put any more soil on it until I've done the muck around the edge. We just want to get a bit of soil under the tree itself for now. So let's put the tree on. And what would we say? A little bit to the left, yeah? It's just slightly to the left. Okay, so we're going to wiggle it in like that. See if we got enough room for muck at the back, which I think we do. I'm pretty happy with that. Just want to put a bit more soil under the back so I can lean it forward a bit. You know, I think of these people that do proper demonstrations in front of a big group of people, without the benefit of being able to edit, pause and redo something. I don't redo a lot of stuff, but occasionally I do stand there like a dumb mule with no idea, and then I rethink what I'm doing and record again. But they don't get that benefit in a demonstration. So what I'm going to do is, I don't want to go over the top of all the roots too firmly. So I think what I'll do is I'll catch a lot of the middle roots, and then we'll wire that in there. And then the top roots can grow over it without wrecking them. And later on in life we can find these wires and pull them out. This is partly why I don't do a lot of wiring in trees, because if the wire grows into the tree, very hard to find later. And also if you put it over the top, it cuts into all the roots. So there's a big ugly root here. I'm going to leave it for now. I've cut enough off. I'm leaving it. Alright, so I reckon we come up through that little gap. Yeah, I don't know what that root's doing, but anyway. join up with there. Now we've got to get our pliers, pull it down nice and firm. Okay guys, if there's moments in this video where you think I'm looking incompetent, well, good, because half the time I'm second guessing myself and wondering whether I'm doing the right thing, you know? And that's part of learning bonsai. You experiment, learn. If you do end up making a mistake, make sure you did learn from that mistake. If it works out good, well, you know next time, don't you? Well, we know next time not to pull the wire that hard. I don't think there's enough wire left there. Oh, there might be. Yeah, I pulled too hard on too weak a wire. And there's not enough wire left. Okay, cut. Okay, I think I can maybe just get it to work around the front. Evidence, there's the old wire still there now. Oh man. Well, this is the back of the tree anyway, but let's pull that. Wind down, pull out. Broke it again. Very weak. Either people don't tie their trees, you can see I don't tie my trees in very often, I don't know what I'm doing, but either people don't tie their trees in with very strong, either people don't put much pressure on when they tie their trees in on video, or something's going on, because I feel like I'm not pulling that hard and the aluminium's breaking. And there we go, it just broke again. Inferior wire? Probably not. Can I still make this distance? I don't know. Come on, let's just get a bit of a wind on you and call it done. Alright, I'm just going to pull out a bit. Oh, come on, come on. Wind in. One more time. Pull out. Release as you wind in. That's what they say. It's not me saying that that's how you do it, that's how I've heard that you do it. Alright, so that side's kind of on. Put it this way, it's not going to blow off the rock anyway. And I've already done this side a bit, but we're going to do it a bit more. So I'm going to pull out, wind in, pull out, wind in without pressure, pull out, wind in. Should I do another one? Probably not. Pull out, wind in, snip the excess off. The other one didn't need no snipping, as you can see. I snapped it about 6 bloody times, and wow, that's pretty solid. I think that's good enough, guys. No wire across the top, so it shouldn't wreck the roots. Now, I want to make my muck up to go around the whole edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean off the bonsai soil that's hanging outside here. So the muck's got something solid to stick to. And then we're just going to build a wall of muck. It's going to be a heck of a lot of editing. Alright, so we've got our muck mix here. Just going to clean off around this pot. Now, I don't think you want to make a circle of muck or anything like that. You just want to have a bit of an uneven edge that vaguely follows your pot, probably. And work out how much we want to put on. create a bit of a wall of muck. I think it's too thick. You can see this muck works well. All this pine needles stuck in there. Let's put up a wall of muck. Let's push it on. It's like, yeah, I think it'll be right. I think it will be okay. Yeah, how high do you go with your muck? I think where I can, I'll go a little bit wider just to give it a bit more support. And I'm just going to work around the whole tree like that. Stick it to the rock. It's a bit like working with clay, and hopefully it'll all end up staying. So I'll work my whole way around the tree like this. Create a bit of a wall. Sort of follow this vague line of this corner around. Maybe go out a bit wider and create a bit of a shallower line there, we'll see. The hard thing will be, is because you're using an inorganic mix basically, once you fill it up past the level of this muck at the front, it's going to want to just come off. So that's where your moss will come in handy to try and keep all that in. But anyway, it's a super fun process. Just build up these walls with a bit of muck. It's like making a clay pot, really, isn't it? Well, I will say I'm actually a fan of this mix. It's on there reasonably firm. Right, I'm going to go around the whole thing and do that, and then we're going to fill it in with a bit of soil. Okay guys, well let me know how you think I did. First job at muck. Look at that, all the pine needles hanging out. So I managed to get it all the way around, and you know, it seems pretty well stuck to me. Now I just got to fill in this cavity. I feel a bit better about it actually, because I was worried how high I could build it up to then angle the soil and then put moss on, but I can actually build it up pretty high and it still seems pretty stable. So I'll be filling all that up with soil, and it's a decent amount of soil I can fit, especially on like this side here and the back here and that side. There's actually, even the front there, there's a decent amount of soil I can put in there. Room for it to grow. Probably be equivalent to like a 35-40 centimeter pot by 25 to 30 width, something like that. And even this side of it looks pretty cool. So now I'm just going to fill it up with soil, and then we're going to moss it. So we're getting there. I think it's taken shape. Okay, so we've got it chopsticked in. The more I look at it, the more I don't like these cutouts on the corner of this rock, but we can't, you know, we can't help that now. I've gone to a lot of effort to put it on there, and it was a natural rock that I collected. You could turn the rock up the other way and then put some little feet or something to make it stable, and that would give you a bigger pocket of soil to put in, so you have to take less off. But I wanted this one to be inverted, see how it goes, see what happens. Right, let's put on some moss. And the moss is probably going to be the key point. Without the moss, I think these sorts of plantings would be pretty hard, if not impossible to do. Because I think it's going to rely on the moss to hold it all together. And potentially keep it all moist. So I'm hoping the moss will stick to this muck, which I think it will, seems to be, and then we're just going to run it up onto above the soil there, and when we water it and look after it, should be fine. So if you got blackbirds or anything that takes off the moss, I don't know how the hell you're going to do it unless you protect it from the blackbirds. But you can see the effect already. I'll just get another piece. Yeah, you can sort of see the effect already of the moss. It kind of seems to be tying it all in and making it all look a little bit natural and pretty cool, I reckon. And then over time, when the roots fill out and fill into everything, it'll help hold it all together anyway. Just very delicate right at the start here where nothing's sort of knitted together. As the roots fill in, we should be fine. And there's a decent amount of roots left, so a lot of feeder roots. I have cut this flat before, so that's why there's still quite a few feeder roots in there. If you'd only ever grown it in a big pot like that and never done any root work, never cut it flat, I probably wouldn't recommend taking so many roots off straight away, because it could be that the roots go straight down to the bottom of the pot and then grow on the bottom and there's no feeder roots in the middle. But because I've already cut this flat before I knew there was, so yeah, just be careful of that. Don't go getting any old nursery container stock out and just chopping it off to nothing, because chances are it probably won't survive. This has had some root work before. Okay, so you can sort of get the idea. I'm not going to keep you here for the whole of the moss job, but I will bring you back when it's done. So let's fast forward. G'day guys, welcome back. Well, there you go, got the mossing done. Just want to apologise, it's been a pretty long video in the end. I've been at it for almost 5 hours, probably in about 10 minutes, 5 hours, you know, believe it or not. I chose not to edit a lot of the crap out because I wanted to see you guys, you know, see you watching me. I wanted you guys to see me fumbling around and second guessing what I'm doing, and you know, because it's my first time doing it, and that's what everyone else, you know, that's what it's like at home. You fumble around and you get it done, and don't worry if you don't quite feel confident enough, just give it a crack anyway and see what happens. So here we go, we've got it on the slab. I've got the muck underneath, filled it in with the soil, put the moss on top, got the tree wide on the rock. It's still quite manageable, I can still lift it pretty well. So you can see I can still, like, it's heavy, but I can still walk it around, quick walk somewhere, you know, 20-30 metres. Wouldn't want to carry it all day. But there you go, so there's me mucking around with the tree for the day. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope it inspires you to maybe get out there and put a tree on a rock planting. It was, yeah, it was a lot of fun tested me a bit, but got it all done. At certain times you wonder whether it's all going to come together, but it seems to. All I'll say now is just looking after it is I would probably water the moss carefully, you know, a couple of times a day for the next several odd days, and keep it moist for a couple of weeks till it really settles in good. And then once the moss is settled in properly, if it does dry out a little bit on a hot day, it should just go a bit off colour and not curl up. At the moment, if you let it dry out, the edges of each bit of moss will curl up and it will all fall off. So if we can keep it sort of moist over the next couple of weeks, I think that'll work pretty well to get that moss to settle in and not fall off. So it actually seems to have stuck pretty well to the muck underneath. That muck recipe seemed pretty good. Alright guys, so there you go. Long video. A lot of time on my end as well. I'll give you guys a spin now, and you'll get to see it in all its glory. I'll bring you up closer. Oh no, I can't. I can't, because then you can't see the whole tree. Maybe there. Maybe there. Alright guys, so there you go. I'll give you guys a spin. This is a turntable from Adrian Eggleton, massive one. So let's give it a slow spin. Yeah, really fun to push yourself. Do another one. As you can see, the back of the moss is almost straight up vertical, but I think that'll still knit up pretty well and stay on there pretty well. Just keep the birds away from it, keep watering it, and we should be all good. No worries guys, thanks for watching Aussiebonsaibloke. And, you know, have fun with your bonsai, and I'll catch you next time. She's been a long one. Cheers. Beautiful.